So this is the second installment of my final miter saw stand build. And I got a lot of great tips from you in the first segment of it. So I started to make some progress on building out the drawer boxes, and I realized I got to show you how to build the drawer boxes. So stay tuned, and I'm going to go through some of the decisions I made in building these. Okay, so let's talk about the basic build. You got a bottom and two sides. Then you got 4 nailers. You got 2 countertop nailers, okay, and 2 wall nailers, okay. The rips on those are 400 millimeters for the nailers, okay, just like toe kick material. Your 2 sides and bottom, we ripped those in a previous video to 600 millimeters in depth. The height of the sides overall is 672 millimeters, okay? And the cross cut for the bottom and the nailers is the inside dimension, which is 400 millimeters. Okay, I think I covered everything, but what we're gonna do is look at our story stick just to do a check. And remember, we got a 100 millimeter toe kick, 18 millimeter bottom, 672 side, okay? But we're gonna have an 18 millimeter top on everything. So I'm gonna come in here and check, and I'm right where I need to be. That's why a story stick is so good to have, because you can always check your dimensions. So once again, I stopped. I built 4 of the 6 drawer box base cabinets, because I want to go over it with you and show you my assembly process and give you some tips and tricks on how to get these together properly. So it's a process. So for the 6 drawer box bottoms, hopefully I said that right, we need 12 600 millimeter rips, okay? Remember rips, and then we cross cut everything. Then we needed 6 full bottoms, okay, but we also needed all the nailers. So I wanted to keep everything the right dimension, and you'll see in a second how I did that. So we cross-cut 12 pieces of each dimension. Then I edge banded it. And I've gone over edge banding with you before. I'll probably put in the description a link to one of my edge banding videos. But over here, and this will make sense for you, hopefully, I needed that front nailer edge banded. And that's a rather narrow piece to edge band, and of course I use the festool Conturo for that. But what I did, so everything's the right dimension when I put it all together, all right? What I did is I took the full top, and on my table saw, I ripped 100 millimeter pieces. And now I have all my nailers cut, perfectly dimensioned, in accordance with my bottoms. So we got all our pieces and parts prepared, and I'm gonna stop right here and mention that I'm not gonna use the 32 millimeter spacing, because in a future video, I will show you how to set drawer box slides using plywood gauge blocks. So let's get joining. So basic cabinet making 101, or cabinet engineering 101, is the tops and bottoms are always pinned between the sides. So your domino goes in like this. And I will always use the domino in cabinet making since it came out, for the simple fact that this helps me in assembly, and you'll see in just a few minutes when I put this together, all my front edge banding, when I use the tight setting of the domino, will make sure it aligns perfect and you're not wobbling all over while you're setting your screws. Okay, so the one thing you have to do is you have to remember where I'm going to put the plate of the domino for the right orientation. I've seen ways of doing this, several different ways, but what I like to do is where I'm going to reference the plate here, and this is the bottom, okay, of the bottom, is I make a mark here. But what I'm going to do is make sure there's a mark here, because that's where my plate's going to go. Now, I've seen people do this when they first get used to a domino, and I'll see them do this. They'll actually go like this and put domino slots here because I know they're going to go here. Remember, because I have this marked out, that's where I'm going to lay my plate. I'm going to plunge in this one horizontal. Now this one, I have an additional line. I'll show you in a minute. Okay, because that's going to help me line up my support bracket. But we're going to plunge vertical here. It's simple, but what I've also done here is a reference from my brain, but I do this, and I saw somebody doing this. This is where I'm going to put a domino. So I understand the orientation of the domino when I'm plunging. That will, if you understand that basic concept, okay, that will allow you to get a perfect flush joint with the domino, and you won't have any offset. All right, one more thing to remember. Let's set up the domino properly for success. We're gonna use 5x30 dominoes. So I switched out the bit to a 5mm bit. Now I gotta set my plate height. Right here on the gauge block in that window, I have it set at 20. I just verify that. My plunge depth is set at 15. So every time I have edge banding, the setting is going to be on the tight setting, and then I will switch it to the middle setting for the rest of the mortises. Okay? Now, there's only one spanner that I'm gonna, and that's the front spanner because that has edge banding, and I'll do one domino in those. So we're gonna put a domino tight from the front, okay, where the edge banding is, and we're gonna put 2 more dominoes in here. We're gonna use the flap, precision of the machine. We're also going to do a loose one from this side using a flap, but I want one kind of in the center. So what I did is I made a mark because the depth of my cabinet is 600 millimeters. I did a layout line of 300 millimeters and I scribed the line, and I will use the cursor for that. So remember, the first one from the front edge, where the edge banding is always tight. And then we put loose over here, and that gives you 3 millimeters on either side of the domino. But what you should always remember is you still got that great shear strength in there from top to bottom. Okay, so let's do our sides with the domino. Now remember where we're going to lay the plate. It's up against this edge. That way there we have a flush butt joint. But I also showed you that we're going to be plunging vertical. So you always should have a support bracket. Remember, tight from the front edge. And what I did is I showed you, we went like this because we know we're going to plunge vertical. But we're also going to put one up top here from the front edge tight, okay, for the front nailer. Okay, so there's an additional mark you'll see right here. It's at 300 millimeter, and that is so when I'm using my support bracket, I can look right inside the window and know I'm lined up perfect. So I've never mentioned this before, but what I do is I always examine the boards, okay? And before assembly, I check to see if some like fluff was left by the domino, and I just take it like this real quick. That way there, they sit perfectly flush. So one of the things I did for the nailers, remember this is my front nailer, I'm gonna be plunging horizontal, so I have a 10 in here, a 10 in here, and a 10 in here. So what I did is I marked my face where I'm going to lay my plate so I get that perfect flush butt joint. So remember, that's why you have these flaps, because that's what I'm referencing on the front edge. That's the reason I can go in the tight position so all those edge banded front edges line up absolutely perfect. And you'll see in just a moment how it really speeds up and eases assembly. So let's see how we did. Remember, I made that line and that's where we laid the plate. So there's that tight one from the front. Okay, and just be patient when you do this, because once you get that tight one in, right, the others should flow right in it, and they do. And this is a really tight fit. But as I put it together, okay, and you'll see that front edge comes right together nice, okay? So now when we put our screws in, this thing won't be going crazy like this, and the only thing we need is just a couple of supports and stops like that as we use it. So let's get this in there. Now, because this is just regular plywood, it's not pre-finished, you could put a little glue on here if you want. I don't, because it's gonna be held together with screws. But as I put this in, oh, look at that, and it's a perfect, comes out perfectly flush, just like that. Look at that, absolutely perfect. So here's where I wanna give you a little coaching on this, so you don't do what I used to do. Remember, we plunged into this 18mm plywood. 15 millimeters. So when we start to put this together this way, don't pound too hard, because sometimes what will happen is this will blow through the final mill of veneer. So just be patient, take your time, but remember those tight ones should line up real easy. And remember, be gentle here doing this. And look how perfectly flush that is. Okay, let's get this top nailer in. Okay, and just very cautiously. Oh, and look how that whole front edge just came together perfect. Okay, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna put 3 screws here, 2 on each nailer. Very important here. I use self-tapping screws, okay, where you have the spear point with a screw that actually drills, and you have these little nibs here that are self-countersinking. And to do that, I can eyeball it, but when you're getting used to this, what I always suggest, remember, this is 3/4 plywood or 18mm, and half of that, what, 3/8 or 9mm. Get a little layout square like this, and you'll see I can scribe that center line on there, so I can put my screw just like this and start it. And this will reduce quite a bit of split out. So combined with an impact driver, the self-tapper won't mushroom, it sets perfect. In the old days, I used to countersink first and then drive a screw in. This saves so many steps. But when you're working with a lower grade plywood, you can almost hear it as you're driving the screw, the plywood cracking. So I'm gonna countersink the front edge here first. And that's the only one I'm gonna do. That way there I don't have a split here on my edge banding. Okay, and we'll just take it like this and drive the screw. Whew. Boxes are built. Now comes the fun part. Drawers and drawer slides. So be patient with us. I need to order the slides. The decision will be made this week which ones I'll get. But also, on all the comments that you made in the first video, really gave me some food for thought about depth. And I'm still trying to decide on depth, but here's the other situation. I'm gonna custom mill all my drawer box stock. So there's another video for you. Be patient. I don't know how long this is gonna take, but I wanna thank you for joining me in my journey on my last miter saw stand. So, as we always say in the SedgeTool shop, be positive, stay sharp, and we mean wicked sharp.